Hear all of our previously aired broadcasts of News for the Soul online at newsforthesoul.com. Now let's get back to the show.
And we're back and we're live all day today. Right now, speaking with the angels and beyond. Tanya Mosley is here, and let's bring her on to reintroduce herself and her show. Tanya, welcome back.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Welcome, everybody. Yes, welcome to another episode of Talking with the Angels and Beyond. It has been a little while since I've been on here, even though I just started. It's fascinating when you work for Spirit and listen and have to follow direction and have to kind of listen to their rules. They don't always follow Earth time and our schedule. So that's why I had missed it last time, because you know exactly how that's been. It was energy waves, I think, that were a little intense, and Spirit told me to pull back. And I guess I realized that that probably, probably about a year into this, that when there is a lot going on, it's hard to describe, but when you see the world and then you see everybody talks about astrology, well, there's stuff that goes on even above astrology, it's hard to fathom. When those energies are, I want to say, at a head, when Spirit tells me to back out and kind of rest. So that's exactly what I had to do. And I know you were feeling it, and other healers were feeling it, and intuitive. So now we're back, and I feel like Mercury in retrograde kind of took this energy and tied it in a knot for everybody. I felt like everybody was in one direction and then got a kink in their hose and then kind of paused and waited and then kind of have rebalanced and moved in new directions.
Yes.
Spirit has definitely had me sit back and watch. And I came across a post that Buddha had said, and he said, "The one who's always talking doesn't listen." And it struck me really hard. So I have been out for 2 weeks. I haven't done any of my shows, and I've been listening. And it has been, it's been a little incredible, I think. Just a lot of not constant communication, but sitting in my heart space and remembering who I am and what I want and what I came here to do. Spirit kept telling me to go deeper inside myself. So I invite people who have been feeling these, I know, because Spirit keeps going, energetic waves and upheavals, to kind of take a break out. And they, it's talking about going in a cave, going inside yourself and rebalancing and aligning again to who you are and retreat within. Because what it does is strengthen you deeper and really it's almost like setting new goals for yourself. Back in October, I had kind of knew that these energetic waves were going to be pretty intense this year. Spirit told me that, channel that knew it was coming. I just wasn't, I guess, expecting it to be volatile, I guess is maybe the word, and really send people kind of off kilter. I wasn't expecting ego to rise. I wasn't expecting to see so much. I don't know. Just I guess the best word is unbalanced. So I sat back and I have evaluated, and I've really dived deep inside and figured out. Okay, sorry, I'm hearing a question from the audience. Somebody's asking me what did I do? Like, what was my method to rebalance? Because a lot of people have different ideas of sitting within. A lot of people meditate, go for walks, work out. Mine is unique. I like to listen to NDE radio. That's near-death experiences. It brings a lot of soothing, I guess, to me by hearing other people's stories. It reminds me when I had my near-death experience and sitting in that energy. And I think just talking about those stories and the connection, there's so many people who are now experiencing NDEs and coming out of the woodworks with those and realizing that it's important that we talk about the other side. So many people are in fear of death and in fear of the unknown, and that they feel like this is it in this 3D, in this physical body. So it really kind of like got my juices going. And one woman's experience really hit me at home, because I have fallen short of this. As leaders, as intuitives, as healers, we're always, expect to kind of have all the answers. And this one hit me because I was like, this is something I have lacked in. I love to meditate. I love to hang out in the universe, and I like to go away. And she said something that really hit me. She said, we need your light here. She said, it's great to meditate. It's great to hang out in the universe. But, but we need you to integrate your light here. The world needs you. Times it's easier for me to hang out in the ethers than it is in the physical world. And I asked Spirit, I said, what do you want me to do? Because I channel messages, and I bring in this love, and I do these energies, and I give readings, and it feels like it's still not enough. And the messages aren't integrating. And a couple nights ago, I had a dream that a girl that I had known since school was about to commit suicide. And nobody was listening to her. And I was the only one that was trying to tell her, like, you don't have to kill yourself. And then somebody reached out to me and wanted to post their book about suicide prevention on my page. And suicide has been coming up a lot. And I kind of sat with this. And then I had an emergency phone call this morning from a woman who said, can you please talk to my daughter? She's 13 years old, and she has anxiety, and she won't get out of the car to go to school. Can you please talk to her? And at that same time, you want to talk about synchronicity, a woman was texting me and talking about how she was being bullied by one of her patients. And Spirit's like, are you listening yet? Are you listening yet? And I said, yeah, I got the message. We come in different waves, and we different time periods, and we choose to come in, I want to say, in different eras. And I have always been very good with children, and the children that have came in here recently, my daughter has been, extremely intuitive. People aren't talking about energy. They're not talking about, I know, because Spirit keeps going like it's mainstream religion. But they're not talking about the after. And these kids are coming in smarter, wiser, and I know, because they keep saying over sensitized and very sensitive. And it's important that we talk to all generations of all timelines of anybody who comes in, and understanding how to integrate their energy into this world, and slow down, and why they're here, and what beautiful love they have to give. And it's importance of remembering why you chose to come here, you chose to come here in this life, and the lessons you came to learn. And I think that is probably the most kicker that I get a lot of backlashing about, is that it tends to ruff people's feathers, and they don't want to hear it. And I had explained that in the show that I did before this. I said I had a challenging childhood, in the sense of always having to be in the hospital. And getting pricked and progged, and multiple catheterizations and heart surgeries, and living with parents that didn't make a lot of money, living in an area that was very poor, that was it was full of anger and fear and not self-love. And I chose that. I chose to come here and experience this through high school, through my date rapes, through every experience, situation, and person I came in contact with, here, now, into the future, that I chose this life path. But my free will is also where free will comes in is you can also choose your reaction. And that was probably something that kind of hit home with me, and I think with other people, is when your free will comes in and you get to choose on how you're going to react to things. And you made a lot of decisions before you physically even knew what you had made, but you chose to learn and to love. And your response to every situation is your free will. And you have to keep reminding yourself sometimes of that when things get hard, when situations in life are very present and very in front of your face. I've talked with other people that sometimes it's easier to say this on the other end of the phone or on the other end of the computer. And people had said that to me, well, you don't know what it's like. And I said, you know what, I don't live in your shoes and I don't know exactly, but I will tell you my stories. Spirit said to me that people want leaders who have been and experienced things and not had life on a silver platter. And that really hit home with me because people like to feel that they're not alone and that they're not the only ones who've experienced trudging through the mud. So I have told Spirit that I will, reach out to children who feel like they are overwhelmed with anxiety, feel like they're all alone, stuck in I know, as Spirit is saying, a lot of this, which is so hard for parents to understand who are not aware of this, and this is what counselors, this is what religion doesn't talk about. Nobody talks about past life. Nobody talks about the stuff that you pile over from lifetimes that you integrate into this lifetime. Oh my goodness. When I had to do a healing on my daughter, I realized that she had come over with a bag of issues. A bag of issues that she had come over from being present with Martin Luther King and fighting for her freedom and fighting for equality. And when I did a healing and I had saw this stuff and saw this anger inside of her, I realized, oh my goodness, this isn't even from this life she came over. I have parents come to me and they go, look at this. Look at this child who is screaming and crying. They have nothing to be, and they're like, where did this come from? Crawling on the floor, and she starts beating the carpet because she was trying to crawl. And I looked and I'm like, oh no, we're going to have a problem here. Completely not understanding that situations and past life do integrate over to this one. And if you have not learned your lesson, or if you have came in too quickly, which I've seen that giving a reading, you are going to have to work through those. You're here, slow down, to heal and to love yourself deeper. Accept who you truly are. Accepting all the flaws, forgiving yourself, loving yourself, and loving others. When you truly understand that everything you see, you touch, you feel, you experience, you are a part of, thing is love. Spirit has pushed me, I want to feel like it's, the best way to describe it is the heart of the universe. And to go deeper than that. And it's so hard to describe, and it's hard to put human words in it. The more we understand ourselves and understand our capacity of love, not only for ourselves, for others and this planet, we can truly make heaven on earth. We are bounded by the limitations of fear, of denial, of self-worth, lack of, ego, mindsets of not having enough. Mine's off of not being able to express. The other time, how do you move into that? And I said, I wish it was a magic pill that you could just take and move into a state of trust and faith. But it's something you have to feel within your soul, within your body, and within your physical. You know you're not alone. You know when you're all by yourself in a dark room and you can still feel that you're not alone. It's the other side, supporting you and loving you, moving yourself out of your head and into your heart, where anything is possible. Filling deeper into the core of us. Feeling the rhythm of your heart and know where you are created by love and not in a physical sense. You're very created in the eyes of the divine, and every part of your being is connected to him, to it, to the light. So many people get stuck on wanting to know it all, having to know the future, having to know what we're here for and what we need to experience, what we're supposed to do in our life. We do this to our children. We make them grow up so quickly. Know where you're going to go to college. Know what you're going to do with your life. But we forgot to tell them to live in the moment and allow themselves to express and be loved and feel. We've put ourselves in a box, and we've put our children in a box. How do you climb out? How do you break loose? The key is within us. Everybody's always looking for the answer, looking for the easy way out, the get out of jail free card, not wanting to face reality. Your mind, your experiences, and your energy has created everything around you, every experience. Your energy, your thought has created that. People say, I don't know how to change it. Stop thinking. Start feeling. Sorry, there's thunder here. People have been afraid to feel because they don't know what to feel. It's awful. You see generations of passed down experiences of parents having abusive families, alcoholic families, and you ask, when does the cycle stop? Sarah said, when you disattach yourself from your reality and look within. People tell me all the time, I forgot who I am. And I said, look in the mirror, look into your eyes, breathe, feel your skin. Sit into faith, sit into trust, sit into love. I remember when I had my NDE. Actually, at the time, I didn't even realize it was an NDE until later, especially after listening to NDEs. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is what I had. I was getting my blood drawn, and I completely passed out. And everyone's like, you can't have an NDE from that, you know. Later, my ex-husband, many years, passed out. And they took him in the ambulance, shoved a really big needle in his arm, and he was on all the blood pressure machine and everything. And he passed out again, and he coded. And they had never seen it before. And the EMT came up to me. He said, I will tell you, I don't know what happened in that EMT, but he's lucky to be alive. And Spirit said to me, when you pass out, usually you're not hooked up to a blood pressure machine or anything else. Nobody knows what goes on. They say, oh, that your body automatically and your brain automatically kicks in. But he coded right there. And then when I was having my ND, I remember moving closer to the light, and I felt free. And I was so, I don't know, I just remember feeling like, oh, it's finally over with. And I just felt, there's no words, incredibly pain-free and loved and happy, and I was moving closer to this beautiful light space. But every time I was moving closer, I was getting pulled like tiny little cords and ropes back into my body. And I kept saying, I don't want to go. Leave me alone, leave me alone. I want to go to this light. And then when I was back in, of course, pale as a ghost, sweating and everything else, and back in, I was so angry because I just wanted to go right where I was. And I was some of the other people who had NDE who didn't get to know their mission or talk to their loved ones, or at the time, like I said, I didn't realize I had an NDE till later. And I was angry because I didn't want to be here. I wanted to go to this bliss. And it's taken me many years with an intuitive child, my grandma's passing, and being able to hear her and opening my gifts, and even more, and realizing, oh my gosh, I'm intuitive. I've been intuitive my whole life. That this is a gift. But also, I don't want to say a curse because that's not the great word to use. I don't know a word to use. It can be a little challenging because everybody's expecting you to have all the answers and know everything. But what's funny is, like I was saying before, everybody wants the simple answer. Everybody wants the quick fix. And I had noticed that I've been, and it's the thing I've also been struggling with, is I don't like to talk about myself, and Spirit really is saying, your message is important. And that you need to talk about this. That, I was evaluated or saw if I was a legit psychic, and from one of the, from Katie Keeley, she's in television on, and has been in the UK. But she's a very, very well-known psychic with a lot of actors and all that kind of stuff. And she said that I was the highest level psychic that she'd ever seen. And she'd asked me, she said, how did that feel? And I said, I don't know, because there's still, and where I live, people don't believe kind of what I do and what I see. And you have so many skeptics and that kind of look at you and like, okay, what is she trying to get? She's trying to get money. She's trying to do this. And it's like, with information, sometimes I felt like I was trying to better people's life with giving them like a tad bit of information. And Spirit obviously knew better than I, because then they started giving me healing modalities and different, integrating all kinds of this beautiful energy with me. And they said to me that answers are just not enough, because people just, oh, okay, great, and then but nothing changes. They just go on about it and go, oh, you're right. And I'm like, it's not about being right. It's about I know, because they say the glimmer of hope and putting you in a right path of peace and love. And Spirit gave me healing where they wanted me to release things within people and have them go deeper within themselves. When I started my healing course that Spirit wanted me to offer, those first two people, she came at me and she said, you should have told people what you did, what this course meant. I feel like I'm up in arms. I can't believe how angry I am. And I said, healing is never going to be easy. You should have warned people first. I am not a surface person. I've never been in my whole entire life. I've never been surface. I go straight down to the core, to the depths. I pull things out, places that some people don't want to go to. So I'm like, if you don't want to go to the deepest part of your soul, you shouldn't come to me. Because that's what I'm also trying to look for. When you reach out for teachers, when you reach out for coaches and everything else, you're looking for things that people are also trying to find within themselves. I go deeper every day. That's where I've been going deeper for the past 2 weeks. Healing is never easy. But you chose to come and do it. And it doesn't matter who your teacher is, who your coach is, or if you choose to do it alone and with your team on the other side. Healing can be challenging, but it can also be a very beautiful thing. They show it to me like a tree. As much as you flower up, you're also growing with your vines deeper. We try to go deeper within and also up to face the sun. We strengthen deeper within ourselves, but also with our intuitive self, reaching the divine. A lot of people have, because it's pushed me to move outside of my house, so I finally got an office here in the town that I'm at, and I'm taking a leap of faith and trusting that even though I don't have a lot of face-to-face clients, that they'll come. So I'm just trusting, and I said, well, I'll never know until I find out. Sink or swim, I'm going for it. So they, gave me the colors of my office, and I really have pushed myself out to be seen more. And I got a lot of judgment from people because I'm younger. And they looked at me, and I did energy work on, actually, the chiropractor I worked. He goes, usually somebody that has your energy skills is in their 60s. And they look at me kind of sideways, like, how do you know what, why should I believe you? What school did you go to? And who did you learn from? And I'm like, I learned from Jesus. I learned from God. I learned from the other side. I've learned through life experiences and know that I haven't just done this just this lifetime. I've been doing this for a lifetime. Beyond this, just one life. I think that's also a gift. You don't have to know exactly what you did or who you were. But just asking. I ask for all my wisdom and my knowledge from lifetimes and lineages to come back to me now. I know Spirit keeps saying to do a guided meditation, so we're going to do that because they've said it like 3 times now. Pushing it off. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to ask the audience kind of where should. Okay. Because I can hear some people saying, integrating past life into now, and also lying with energy onto their, just lying with their, it's like, I want to describe it as heart chakra, but it's even more. It's your whole chest cavity. It's your whole heart base opening to invite, say that again, to invoke you deeper. Touch places of your soul that haven't been touched in a long time. I think we're going to do that now so I don't run out of time. So if you guys are open to receiving kind of a guided meditation, I'm going to, so when I start the guided meditation, I only channel what I see and where Spirit picks up. So you can just kind of close your eyes. Unless you're driving, then do not do that. You can do this later. Opening your palms for receiving, putting your feet planted on the floor and just breathing. We just let go, being fully aware of our physical body and envisioning giving yourself a hug and thankful for this beautiful physical body because you chose this temple to navigate this time and this space and this reality here and now, honoring and loving it. And as you do, you just release and let go. With every breath, You envision breathing in this beautiful white crystalline light and releasing anything that you want to let go. With every breath, you drop deeper down into your chest and into your soul, into your solar plex, and just breathe. Calling on your team, just surrounding you, putting you in your bubble. This is your space, your connection, your happy place. And you breathe. And you envision opening the top of your bubble with your left hand, just kind of sweeping it open. And seeing the beautiful light, the sun, the golden, high vibrant light coming in through your bubble, filling up your bubble, coming down to the crown, all the way through your body, shooting down through your feet and spreading out, activating every cell within your body and shining light. Invoking every layer of your energetic field and your physical, going deeper. Bringing this all the way down into your heart, into your soul. Finding that flame of light of who you are. Invoking and lighting and igniting this flame of remembrance. Say that again. Of your angelic, aesthetic body. Of your higher consciousness. Of the higher angelic realm. To the highest point of our divine, stretching out and expanding throughout our universe and through others, touching and invoking all layers of light, transmuting our light into this infinite space and beyond. Touches for beyond light. It's the speed of light, and it transfers back to us and inviting, invoking our flame, our remembrance. Okay. Clearing all timelines of lower frequencies that we no longer want to continue on to this higher frequency as we step into into this energetic space, yes, of April into spring, into this higher vibration of equinox. We release any of these attachments or lessons and say we've learned them, we fulfill them, we clear them now. Inviting the wisdom and the knowledge with us from this point forward. Michael puts his sword, oh yes, and Adizia, thank you, puts on the golden path and shoots and activates our path, golden love and wisdom, pushing us forward into our path with ease, with flow, knowing that every step we take and these beautiful golden bricks, our path becomes illuminated. Our energy from our feet shoots all the way up through us and talk, yes, and about abundance, slow down. And the flow begins to shoot all the way through us and out of our crown. And it's this beautiful effect that comes all the way back down to our feet. It's this beautiful circle of in and out and flowing all and around us. Feeling and knowing, activating our deeper knowing within us, strengthening our core and who we are, our trust and our faith. understanding the deeper consciousness of co-creating and what that truly means to us and manifestation. Understanding that it goes beyond the physical and into a higher vibration, where it's so telepathic that we move out of this physical, and understanding that our telepathic and our energy waves is, it's extremely fast. I can't even describe how fast this is. And we integrate that, thank you, into our physical. Understanding that our physical does not hold us back, and as we are not limited to it. And expanding our consciousness and our energy and our magnetic field becomes our physical, and we become translucent within our physical. When we start changing our perception and our mind and integrating this high frequency into our physical brain, and understanding that we are connected and created with love, and we are all that ever is, that ever will become, is ingrained within us, and is love. And every thought we think that has a vibration of love, the magnitude is multiplied by eons. Moving into this beautiful heart space, into a higher field of love and light. It's moving higher, but it's moving within. We flow with this high flow, of into the higher realms, but also engraving this into our physical, making our life flow easy with love and compassion and acceptance. Accepting the lessons that thus come forward, that we accept and we choose to vibrate with love. And every situation moving forward, our reaction is coming from a heart-based teaching of love. We ask that this, thank you, to invoke this action within us. So our first immediate response is love. Removing the lower, dense emotions that no longer serve us, moving us into a higher heart space of love and vibration. We ask that this comes in so we can respond in this love space, moving forward with every situation as we are here on this physical plane. Thank you. Okay, thank you. They're wrapping you into, it looks like a net of sacred geometry of Christ grid. The golden netting is the best way. Activating it, implanting it into the crystalline grid, shooting it out for us to experience and meet any person, situation, that we came here to fulfill our divine mission. It's activated now. Standing truth in our heart and in our faith, we sit, we wait, and we breathe. Inviting our energy back and bringing this into our soul. We breathe into our heart space, into our chest, into our soul, and breathe. Putting your hands on your heart, thankful for the connection, being in a state of gratitude and thanking ourselves, our higher self and our higher consciousness for coming, integrating our life here in this world and our love and our light. We thank ourselves. We thank Source. We thank every person, place, and situation around us, from past, present, and future. We thank them and put them in a state of gratitude and love and compassion. And just take a couple deep breaths and let this settle into your physical. Whew. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes. Definitely drink a lot of water after that. Every time I do a little guided meditation, I tend to get a little heady, so I have to really breathe and pull this into my heart, into my knowing. Say that again. Acceptance of self, the counterpart of our. Say that again. And the conjunction to others' hearts and our heart, because it keeps showing me all these cords connecting everybody's heart together. We do this in life. When we're feeling low, we find somebody to make us happy, find something to bring us up. So we're constantly pulling on each other's kind of heartstrings. But the more we embody this light with us and within our heart space, it cleans these cords and this conjunction to others, and it brings them up. We all know what it feels like to be around somebody who brings us down, and we want to pull away from that. We want to go to people who make us feel alive and vibrant. Do that again. Be that counterpart you see in other people. And I've said this so many times because people say, oh, well, I love that about you. And I said, I ask Spirit every time when I go out and around, I said, point a mirror out. So if somebody sees something in me, it's actually a reflection of what they see inside themselves. I tell people I like to hold up tiny mirrors because we are all created equal and in the space of love. Whew. Channeling. So let me see if there's any questions in the ethers that I feel like somebody has a question about me. Somebody is asking, like, how did you become so strong where it seems like it's easy for me, I guess, because I can sit here and kind of sit in this space. I'm going to use this example because Spirit is bringing it to me. I was a single mom, not making a lot of money, and after I paid my bills, which I was fortunate to be able to pay bills and my car, I had only $150 for food, groceries, and to take care of the kids every 2 weeks, and that's a lot compared to some other people. But it was, my heart condition was not good. My valve was very large, and I kept going to the cardiologist, and he said it was enlarged so much as a male heart. Well, I am 5'4" and in a female body. And my mom asked him, well, what happens if her valve explodes? And he said she'd be dead before she hit the floor. So I had this stress of, if I drop dead, who are my kids going to go to? Single mom of trying to survive, in a job that was making $9 an hour, and the stressors of life. And there was many times I wanted to just crawl in a cave and go and die, and just wanted it to all stop. My mom would come over and say, your house is messy, you're not keeping up with this. And I was trying to keep up with the kids. My daughter was 5 and my son was 3. So I had little kids, and my ex-husband would have them, every other weekend when he was in town with work, because he lived out of town a lot. And I wasn't coping very well, but I knew within inside of me, there was that sense of knowing that I knew things were going to get better. I didn't know how. I just knew it was going to get better. I was always in kind of a place of knowing. And there was one day I was completely stressed because I was taking blood pressure pills. Even though I didn't have high blood pressure, the cardiologist wanted me to take these heart pills that would lower my blood pressure. Well, first of all, I already had low blood pressure. So every time I took these pills, I would get dizzy, lightheaded, but I had to take them. I still had to work because he didn't want so much blood pressure rushing in my heart that he didn't want my valve to explode. And there was one morning I was just completely stressed. And I looked at that bottle of pills, and I wanted to take all of them because I knew I would go to sleep and never wake up. And right before I was thinking about taking these, a voice in my head said, wait. It was loud. It said, wait. And then my phone rang. And it was now my current husband. I was just talking to him at the time. And, I ended up marrying him, and my life turned out, and we had some very challenging, tough times in the beginning, and I realized then that I had to love myself before anybody could love me the way that I wanted to be loved. And it took me some time. I'm going to try not to get emotional. It took me some time to figure that out. Because my husband was also trying to find himself. He took the financial strain off of me. But they always say, well, money makes everything better, but you're left with emotions. And I had to find and love myself deeper and remember who I was. So yes, he saved me financially, but he also challenged me to find out who I am, even though to this day and right now, he's at work and he doesn't believe in what I do. But he knows I'm on my journey. He doesn't agree with me. But I also know that he's on his. And when I asked God, why did you give me my huge, big, I had multiple openings or awakenings. I said, why did you give them to me when I am with a man that I love? I said, why? I said, this has been, he was raised Methodist. His parents were so involved with the church. He thinks what I'm doing is devil's work. And God said to me, he said, if you can live in a house with a skeptic, you can face anybody in this world. I had to find who I am and where my love is with me. And I continue working on this. I'm not done. But I he's kind of like it's like that pain in the butt, kind of thing to keep you going. Not to say I'm proving you wrong, but to say there is more. And that love's the answer. He's never listened to one of my shows or been on my page. So it's loving your neighbor, your partner, somebody in another town, knowing that they're on their spiritual journey and loving them through it, because everybody came from all walks of life, different backgrounds, but we can love them right through it. Sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional, but that kind of hit me out of nowhere. So somebody asked me, well, what do you do? And I said on somebody like, well, what do you do? I try to be a channel of light and love, and any angels, archangels, Mary, Jesus, and not in a religious state, because I'm spiritual. Buddha, like I talked about in the beginning, anybody who steps forward in their messages of love, I translate and channel that message of love. And intuitively, I'm a knower, I can see her, I'm a feeler. I'm audio, I hear things. So I help people kind of with questions that they may have, but Spirit's been giving me a new word. And they said, spiritual counselor. And I'm like, okay. And they go, that's what you need to call yourself. And I said, okay, because I don't like the word psychic medium, because everybody thinks we're gypsies looking into a ball. It drives me nuts. So I'm calling myself a spiritual counselor for anybody who has questions, who wants to find deeper parts. I'm an integrated healer. I do that. Intuitive channeler. I do kind of all of it. Spirit told me I have my PhD in spirituality. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's kind of I think Nicole called it 5 minutes of self-promotion or something, shameless promotion. I don't have a lot to promote right now other than check out my services on Talking with the Angels and Beyond. That's my Facebook page, and my website, is talkingwiththeangels.com. It has all my services. I do healings, distant healings, channeling. I don't particularly talk to past loved ones. Their messages, always that they love you and they're there. So I don't call myself a medium. So if you're wanting to get mediumship working, find somebody else to do that. But anything else, I do. So thank you guys so much for your time, your listening, your, I know because they keep saying me like heart expansion, opening and willingness to listen to somebody else's story, somebody else's adventure. I thank you guys so much, and I will be back in 2 weeks. Have a beautiful, fantastic day. Be excited for these energies in April, because we've been longing for them for quite some time. It puts us in a new platform. Okay, and Spirit is also saying, I encourage anybody. For an example, I was not expecting me to work with kids who have anxiety and depression and thinking about suicide. If you would have asked me that last year, if you would have asked me that 2 weeks ago, I would have probably said no. But if you are feeling the calling, the knowing within yourself to go after something new, I invite you to answer to the call. Spirit has your back. You're never left alone. I love you, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Have a fantastic day.
Me too, Tanya. And oh my God, my voice is gone. One moment. Wow, it just went away there. Never feel like you have to apologize for emotion, energy and emotion, and being authentic in the moment. That was so powerful, and I'm so grateful for you to show up fully for our global audience. And have a great couple of weeks. We'll talk to you soon. Tanya is all linked up at newsforthesoul.com. We are having to reset the switchboard. If you're on it, you're going to have to dial back in every 3 hours. We have to do a reset, and we continue with introducing you to someone very special. Simone is next, right after this.
Hear all of our previously aired broadcasts of News for the Soul online at newsforthesoul.com. Now let's get back to the show.